So good evening, Reverend Michael McMorrow coming to you from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, the North San Fernando Valley, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And tonight is our Get Real and Heal meditation service. So if this is your first time visiting us, welcome. If it is your first time, maybe you can hit subscribe so you can get all of our live updates. If you hit that little bell there, you'll get a notification. And so what we've been doing since January is we've been loosening up the body a little bit before we start. And so tonight we're going to do the Jane Fonda workout. So let's go. Ready? No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. That was just to get you woken up. So we're just going to gently just do gentle twist to loosen up the spine for those of us who've been sitting a lot today. So for me, this goes. And it's a nice way to just kind of cast off the sitting stuff. All right. So that's a good enough to get us started. And now I think we'll start with some neck, just gentle neck stretches. We're just going to look to the right very gently and take a couple of breaths here. Feel a little stretch and exhale to center, then look to the left. Now for me, this is my stiffer side. So and just real gentle. Exhale to the center, looking to the right. Just feel the stretch in your neck. And exhale. And over to the other side. Exhale to the center. One more time to the right. See if you can go a little deeper. And then just make a note of that and exhale to the center. And to the left. Exhale. Okay, so now let's do some shoulder rolls. This way. Just take them forward. You'd be surprised how you don't do that working at the computer. Now going reversing back the other way. This is so good for your shoulders and just getting the blood. Take it back the other way. And going back the other way. Okay, and so now looking up and looking down. Eyes front, looking up. And breathe. Exhale down, looking down. Just let your head hang. Feel it just go loose. Breathing up. And just roll it around. Pick a direction. Just do it slowly and gently. And then eyes forward, and then take it back the other way. Very gently. Sounds like broken glass. Go the other way around. It's I wonder what that is. Like, go back the other way. All right. Back to the center. Now let's look to the right again. See if you can go a little further now. I've picked up a little bit of motion there and release to the center. Inhale. And release to the left. Oh yeah. Got a lot more motion in there. Exhale to the center. One more time to the right. Exhale to the center. One more to the left. To the center. All right. And a couple little twisties. And then we'll go to our forward fold. So I'm going to show you how to do that seated, because I'm going to presume those of you who have a yoga practice know how to do it on your own. So we're just going to take the chair out and spread our legs about shoulder length apart and scooch out to the edge of the seat to where you're comfortable. And we're going to breathe and raise our arms up, keeping them in the socket. And taking a couple breaths here. Make sure your pinkies are turned inward. And then we're going to exhale, very gently go down with a flat back. And feel your dinner. Okay, tighten the tummy. Up you go, breathing. And exhale. Inhale, tighten the tummy, down we go. Flat back, very gently. And see if you can feel your spine lengthen a little bit. Tighten the tummy, up we go. Take a couple of breaths here. Tighten the tummy, down we go. Now let's see if we can release that back a little bit. Tighten the tummy, up we go. Breath in, tighten the tummy, down we go. Tighten the tummy. Exhale, hands to hips. All right, so left hand on the hip and right arm down, thumb out. And let's breathe on the way up and just do a side bend. And look to the left side through the armpit. Lengthen the ribs. Inhale. Exhale down. Right hand on the hip, left hand down, thumb out. Breathing on the way up. Look through the armpit. Now this should feel a lot more comfortable since we did the neck warm-ups. Exhale down, left hand on the hip, drop the right hand, thumb out, taking a breath on the way up. Looking through the armpits, stretching, release, and on the hip, left hand down, thumb out, Take a breath. Up we go. And just allow yourself to feel a nice stretch in there now. And release. One more time on the other side. Thumb out, hand down. Taking a breath on the way up. Release. And one more side just to even it up. Right hand down, thumb out. Taking a breath on the way up. And release. All right, and then we'll do our little twisties again. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting anything? Cocktails? All right. Yeah, like I'd have a cocktail. Okay. Release. Let's make our way to our chair or our meditation cushion, whatever is your pleasure. And Mike is going to show you the waterfall, I think. And I am donning my Seahawk blanket proudly. So, because it's almost Seahawk season, football season. So, UCLA beat LSU. This is exciting for if you're a football fan and a UCLA grad, because they're usually not the team we're paying attention to in town. But we'll talk about the metaphysical implications of football on another evening. Yeah, we will. You'll love it. Trust me. All right. So Mike's going to cue up our little background music. And we're going to take a deep breath. And release. And in that release, we're just going to allow ourselves to anchor into this moment. This eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So the first candle we have is lit for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we hold for them here in our center, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And behind me we have the healing candle. So please say aloud or put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God.
So taking a deep breath together and releasing. In that release, feel that surrender, recognizing and knowing that there is that place within us, that perfect place of peace, the dwelling place of the Most High. And so as we understand that there is no spot where God is not, we know that right where we are, God is. And we allow ourselves this opportunity to both connect in our minds and let that drop into our heart and feel a heart connection with the infinite power and presence of the divine. And so even as we set an intention for this time together this evening, as individuals and collectively, we release any attachment to what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to unfold, what comes next, and just allow ourselves to simply be. And to feel a sense of depth and of connection that can be attained by this simple practice of following the breath. And so this we do this evening, that we just commit ourselves to following the breath easily and gently. We're taking a deep breath and just feel the release in that as we launch this word to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself from which all things emanate. We release it, let it be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So, continuing, the way that I do this book, we'll probably read this thing for years. No, I'll skip around a little bit next week, but I did want to back up one more time because it talks about, this is, of course, The Infinite Way by Joel Goldsmith. And so we read this last week. And he's talking about when we're cultivating living with the presence. And so, of course, meditation is part of that cultivation, right? And as we stay with this, he writes on page 72, Joel Goldsmith does, he says, one day something happens within. Consciousness expands and sees that which before was invisible. One feels a flow of warmth, a presence never before known becomes tangible, very real. Now, this is often a fleeting experience. One may not even be certain that it occurred. It lingers in memory, but more as a dream than an actuality, until it happens again. And this time more clearly, more definite, and perhaps lasting longer. Gradually there dawns in consciousness the realization of a presence always present. This presence may be felt as if lurking in the background of one's own consciousness. At times it becomes a very commanding presence, dominating the scene or experience of the moment. So this week he continues by saying the inner presence has likewise become an inner power. From an occasional experience, it has become the constant awareness. Forces of pain and pleasure in the outer experience diminish, whereas one becomes conscious of inner powers which are real and which produce and govern the outer life harmoniously and fruitfully. There is no longer fear of the evils of the outer world, nor is there the intense pleasure in the happier things of the outer world. It is possible to have the pleasures of the world and enjoy them, or not to have them and not to miss them. There is a constant joy within that needs no outside consciousness. No outside stimulus. In this consciousness, God is found to be the inner light, or at least this light is felt as an emanation of God. God is felt as a divine presence or influence within. It is felt by those who come in contact with the person who has found this inner self. It is reflected in their health and success. It radiates from them as sunbeams radiate from the sun. In finding their inner life, these people have found peace, joy, harmony, and security. Even in the midst of a failing world, they stand unmoved, untouched by the very presence of immortal being. When we are no longer limited by the 5 physical senses and have attained even a measure of spiritual sense or Christ consciousness, we find ourselves unlimited in terms of here or there, now or hereafter. There is a going in and a coming out with any sense of time or space, an unfolding without degree, a realization without an object. In this consciousness, finite sense disappears and the vision is without boundaries. Life is seen and understood, or unfettered form and limitless beauty. Even the wisdom of the ages is encompassed in a moment. Death disappears, and once more we see those previously separated from us by this so-called impassable barrier. This communion is not the communication as understood in the teaching of spiritualism, but an awareness of eternal life untouched by death. It is the reality of immortality seen and understood. It is a vision of life without beginning and with no end. It is reality brought to light. In this consciousness, there are no physical barriers of time and space. The vision encompasses the universe. It bridges time and eternity and includes all being. So there's a lot in that tonight, isn't there? And for those of us who've been committed to our spirituality with a practice, so we know lots of people who say they're spiritual but not religious and don't do much. It's not a judgment. It's okay. It's just where they're at. But for those of us who have found a commitment to this exploration, and I'm talking, there's a lot more lay people who do this stuff. And hopefully clerics are doing it as well. So he's giving us some hints if we haven't had these kinds of experiences. Maslow might call them a peak moment, right? And I have had, the ones that I have experienced were what he was talking about, fleeting. But boy, when they happen, something shifts within, and we're a different person. And so that's, he does a nice job of poetically capturing what that looks like. So if you've yet to have that experience, just keep doing what we're doing here. Make it a regular practice, even if it's just for 20 minutes. You can actually have a meditation brushing your teeth, right? If you do it in a focused way, like I have one of those Sonicare toothbrushes. So for 2 minutes, I'm focusing on the sensation of the toothbrush in my mouth because it's time for 2 minutes. So we find ways to experiment in our practice, and all of it's legit because it's your practice. All right, so that's enough of that. So what do you say we just get into some meditation now by taking a deep breath and releasing, and on that release, just allow the body to surrender. So we'll just check the seat briefly. So we're wanting to have a good anchor for this time together. The spine is straight, erect, but not tense, right? So we're not tensing up anything. And we're focusing on the movement of the breath in the nostril. Breathing easily and naturally. And as you focus on the breath, the mind begins to still. And then focus on the exhale. And on the sensation of the breath on your upper lip. And should you get snagged by a thought form, no big deal, just take a deep breath and release and go back to the breath. And taking one more breath together. We release as we move into the silence now for about 20 minutes. attention gently back into the room, staying with the breath. Imagine with me at your heart center there is the divine spark, that flame of the divine within. And with each in-breath, we fan that flame. This flame is growing in brilliance and intensity. There's a ball of fire in our very heart center that illuminates rather than consumes. And as we know that the Spirit is everywhere present, that with every in-breath, we are breathing in the light of the divine, commingling with the light of the divine, that we're taking that which is needed and releasing that which has served its purpose. So we breathe in light, and we exhale love. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And so with each in-breath, the energetic in the heart center expands a wee bit with each breath, in the way that a balloon expands. Breathing in light, exhaling love. Breathing in light, exhaling love. So that this ball now extends beyond our torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we are sitting in this ball, in this field of light and love. And we continue to breathe. Breathe in light, exhaling love. Breathing in light, exhaling love, so that we feel our heart center opening, that we feel a sense of connection and expansiveness and vastness within our heart, within our body, that we extend this light and love and feel a connection with those with whom we are meditating with in this moment. And so from this field of connection and awareness of light and love, we recognize again there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one light of the divine, that is both impressing itself and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life. And so in this conscious connection, both connection and expression, in this field of consciousness now, we launch any of our cares and concerns, feelings of gratitude and blessing, We're releasing all of it into this field of light and love, as we know there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, and that we are one with it. And so from this place of conscious union with the one, I know that for each and for all, that we continue to express a body temple that remains strong and resilient, that we live, move, and have our being as radiant good health, that we experience the world as a place of abundance, where all our needs are met and then some, that we open ourselves up to divine guidance, to a divine download of new and creative, dynamic ideas for any seeming challenge in our life, for we understand that within each seeming problem, the solution is already in place. And so we are open now to a sense of clarity in seeing that crooked way made straight. That our relationships are warm and connected, respectful and expansive, with a sense of curiosity and experience. And that we are in the creative flow of life in the many ways in which creativity fills our life with moments of expression that quicken the heart and delight the mind. So taking one more deep breath. For this word, the cares and concerns of anyone listening, that we just release all of it now with deep gratitude and confidence, knowing that in that release, it is done. And so we end this meditation with a sense of confidence of knowing all is well, that when we hit the pillow tonight, we drift off easily to sleep, sleeping deeply and restfully, that we awaken in the morning feeling refreshed and revitalized, having dreamt sweet dreams, that we feel a sense of excitement for the day that follows us in every step we take, that there is something that has been shifted, that we have been made anew as we joyously step into our authentic life in effective and productive ways. One more breath. We release. Know that it is so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So thank you for joining us tonight. If you're looking for something to do on Sunday morning around 10:30, we are live streaming on this channel. Again, if you hit that subscribe button and that little bell, it'll ding you and you'll get a notification. That'll also let you join us on the chat. So we have anywhere from, 30 to 60, depends on who's on. But you can chat and say hello, and if you're a first-time visitor, I hope you'll do that. And if you're friends of Reverend Jessica and you joined us tonight, welcome, and we'll hope to see you back. So until then, from Evan and Mike serving us in the back, and Miriam, who's been here faithfully, and we're all awaiting you to come in and join us one of these nights. Just know that you are loved. Peace and blessings. Have a great rest of the week. And and go with the Spirit. So long.